All right, so we're going to get into some lighting here, and this first part is going to be over a basic spotlight, and we'll also get into creating an atmosphere. And by atmosphere, I mean something that's going to give us kind of an effect that will look maybe similar to this, where you actually can see like particles and like thickness and density in the atmosphere. So that's going to be something that we touch on with this first part. So I'm going to start this by just creating a plane, and this is going to become kind of a normal thing, a little playground for our project here. So I'm going to create a plane and expand this, and the objects really don't matter, but I'm just creating a few different polys here just to, oh my God, just to practice this a little bit. Now, all right, so I only added some objects here just so I can get an idea of what the lighting effects look like. The first thing we're going to work with are just the legacy lights that come with Maya, which is create lights and these right here. A lot of these lights work with Arnold renders. Some of them don't. We're going to deal with one in particular that does work well. I know the spotlight works well. The area light works well. Point lights work well as also. Some others don't really work with Arnold, so I'm just going to kind of skip over those. So I'm going to look at the lights and just the spotlight for now. And so I've got a cone shape here. The arrow points the way that it's going to emit light. So if I point this down, kind of rotate it down, I've got intensity, I've got color I can change, I've got cone angle, penumbrum angle, blah, 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 angle, drop off, and so on. Light effects I can play around with as well. So I can play around with these different things. I'm going to render it and see what this looks like first. So Arnold render, and I don't really see anything. So what I'm going to do is throw this up. Now I increased the intensity here, and now I see a pretty hard spotlight right around this one sphere that shows here. Okay, when I zoom in on it here, I can see that it's a pretty hard line, and I can see the exact shape of the cone as it projects the light down. Now, cone angle will have an effect on how that looks. So if I crank this up, I can now see a little bit more of the scene. And I could tighten it down, make it even more pinpoint if I wanted to, really highlight or spotlight one thing. The penumbra angle is this hard line that you see around the outside. So if I crank that up, now I have a soft, kind of softer line around here. It's less intense of a scene now. It went from, I'm going to be, interrogated and have this hard spotlight on me to something that's kind of a soft light scene, maybe from a street lamp pointing down on the ground, kind of a light. Drop off looks like it is the same as cone angle, but it's a lot more delicate than that. So drop off, you can see if I change the drop off by a little bit, 0.2 on this, I can see I can still see the cone angle here, but I can also see where the light, where it's most intense, begins to drop off around the edges. So it's not really changing the cone angle, but it's changing how much that light from its most intense area, which is right around where this arrow is, as it goes to the cone angle, how fast does that light drop off and no longer has an effect. So that and the penumbra angle combination can get you kind of a nice soft lighting effect. Cone angle, will just determine how much of that scene is actually illuminated. Now, in this scene right now, all I see are the effects of the light. I don't see really a physical light. So if I wanted to show kind of an atmosphere, something that shows like the particles in the air, then what I want to do is go into my render settings, which is here, and I can take a look at Arnold Renderer on that tab, and I'm going to go down to where it says Environment and Atmosphere. I'm going to click on this checkered box. I'm going to create what's called an AI Atmosphere Volume. So when I do that, nothing happens, but I have settings here that I can play around with, and density is one of them. Color is another, attenuation. I'm not going to get into all of these. Density is the main thing I'm going to fool around with, and what I'm going to do is put this at 0.2. Now I can see exactly where my light's coming from. So if I had a model there that looked like a lamp or flashlight or something that points down, now I've got an idea of what the atmosphere is like. So it gives me really a good feeling for the atmosphere in this picture, and gives me something a lot like this. Now I'm limited in the kind of shape that I have here with this spotlight, but that's something we'll get into later. I can change the color of this air density or this atmosphere as well. Or what I would probably rather do is change the color of the light here. And so I can actually change that to be whatever I want it to be. Make it blue. Now I've got kind of a mood, like a jazzy kind of feel here. So I like that. And you can adjust as you need to make it fit the kind of feeling that you want in your scene. So that's basically it. That's all I wanted to get into. The atmosphere, and if you needed to go back and make some changes with the atmosphere now, I can access that by going to my my shader here, my Hypershade window. And now when I've created that atmosphere, I have this option I can click on and select, and it brings me right back to where I can make my changes in my Hypershade, or I can find it here again. So if I want it more dense or less dense, I can adjust that. If I want to really see a lot of thickness in the air, then I can change that here as well. And that's all I'm really going to get into with this. And we'll see you for the next part, because this is the end of part 1, spotlights and atmosphere.